Chapter 18, Positive Reinforcement in Institutions, presented by Holly Metzger-Brown. Who is committed into institutions? Those in the community that the community members find a threat. Institutions look like schools for the handicapped. They also have hospitals for the mentally ill and correction institutions for lawbreakers. The community members explain this is a benefit for them, and that's the way they present it to others as well as themselves. Institutionalized coercion. What it is when you're in your community, you don't see it, you don't see the institutions, it's out of sight, out of mind, it's not really happening. Very few thoughts are produced thinking, I wonder what's going on behind closed doors in these institutions. Coercion in institutions is the technique they use for those people to behave in a certain way the verbal community thinks is the desirable behavior. However, there is limited concern of actually the side effects and the aftermath of all this coercion being used in these institutions. Misuse of deprivation. People are placed in control, are often doing the coercion. Teachers, military officers, prison guards, admin, police, government officials are all using coercion to make these people behave, whatever arena you might be in. It's a custom practice for many. There goes an example about solitary confinement. We see it on social media about the misuse. There's been a movie out about it, about the misuse and what it does using that negative reinforce that negative punishment. And that negative punishment is taking away, depriving people from their basic needs, their rights, and their privileges. And there's some serious side effects to many who have committed suicide after being, as they would say, in the hole. Deprivation. This is what deprivation looks like. It contributes to the effectiveness of positive reinforcer. So you can see if I deprive you from food, food is now going to be a positive reinforcer. Now, if you had a really healthy, well-balanced meal, the likelihood of food being a positive reinforcer is very unlikely. And it goes to show deprivation is used as an instrument for coercion. I'm going to keep you from food to get what I want in a manner that is coercion. I'm depriving someone of their basic needs if you were to deprive food from somebody. Timeout and abuses. It's a very controversial topic. Some believe timeouts, think it's abuse, others do not. Very concerning, especially in all these professional settings. It's very similar to the shock that the rats face earlier in the chapters, but it's just not as harmful. Time out refers to time away from reinforcement. Removing a child won't prevent it from happening in the future. You're just saying it's not going to happen now in this environment. We already know that our positive reinforcers strengthen the behavior, while the punishment only allows that person to think of another way to make sure they're not doing it, maybe particularly the person who is providing that coercion. The community, we don't like to hear, rather than being obsessful of having you ignore me, is what it's producing. Don't place a child on timeout. What you need to be thinking is, I need to redo my lesson plan. I need to make this where my students of every ability is feeling successful. Or I need to go back to the point where they were behaving in a manner that I was expecting and then take it from there. Or go a little slower. You have to arrange as a teacher a program that the behavior is going to be reinforceable and powerful way to improve the learning for the people who might find it a little difficult. Prisons as a learning environment. There was a study that it was pretty fascinating when I read the book regarding, they had an initiative program, and it was, we're going to offer these free education classes to give people the skills to have when they go and they are released from their sentence. However, no one was showing up. And the big question was why? So they came up with trying to think of a better way to present this information. And they say the better way is the knowledge, but it's also applying that knowledge of the information they were learning in classes to provide the constructional skills they needed to be successful. The Prison Learning Project came about because no one was attending the classes and getting any skills. So their whole foundation was positive reinforcers. So what they did was they paid prisoners to learn, to go to the classes. By doing that, they could buy things at a store. If they received high test scores, it gained them other perks as far as decorating their space. They would earn extra credits if they continued to learn and take different courses that then they could use. Again, all the funding could go to purchase at the store. They also then got hired for inside jobs that could also have them get more money. These behaviors continued to grow, and the reinforcers of learning how to write, interviews, and opportunities expanded their world, which would be considered a behavioral cusp. They were able to do this using the foundation of positive reinforcers. And one of the questions in the chapter mentioned, what if we would focus not only on the Prison Learning Project, but the youth focusing on the youth before they even enter the program. So the question I provide you is, how can you apply the Prison Learning Project to your career or future position in your organization? And references are the Zinman book. Thank you very much for listening.